The Samurai. In the West, we know him as the swordsman. He strikes so swiftly the eye cannot follow, yet so precisely that he can sever a belt without cutting the wearer. He is a startling figure in bold, exotic armor, riding to battle at the head of shouting soldiers and forests of bright geometrical banners. He is stern and inflexible with others, and with himself. An offense against honor is removed only by death, and if it was the samurai himself who erred, he will take his own life to expunge the dishonor. We know little more than this, which is unfortunate, for the samurai were far more than mere swordsmen. As rulers of their domains, they were statesmen, forging alliances and breaking them, entreating and threatening, employing agents both openly and secretly. When diplomacy broke down, they were generals, masters of strategy and battlefield tactics. They were the product of a fascinating culture, a culture very different from our own, in which honor and duty were more important than wealth or comfort, life or death. You will be part of the culture of feudal Japan, and you must learn to live by its rules. To succeed as a samurai, you must think like a samurai. You must learn when to leave your sword in its sheath, when to draw it, and what to do with it once it's drawn. You will fight duels, lead troops on the battlefield, and defend your family against assassins and kidnappers. If you are courageous and honorable, you may advance to become head of your clan and warlord of your province. If you master diplomacy and generalship and outmaneuver your rivals, you may even unite all the provinces and become shogun, absolute ruler of Japan. But remember that in all cultures, power corrupts, and those who seek absolute power don't always play by the rules. Welcome everybody to Sword of the Samurai. As always, I'm your host, J Squared John Jeremy. And that's where the music stops, I'm afraid. You see, Sword of the Samurai was released back in 1989 as a DOS-based game, and I found it on Good Old Games. It was on sale, as a lot of things usually are, for $3. And that was a mistake, because I am now very addicted to Sword of the Samurai. And for good reason, too. You see, again, made by Microprose Software, the makers of the Pirates series that I so adore. So, finding myself with game mechanics similar to that of Pirates with feudal Japan is a win-win situation for me, and I want to showcase that to you guys right here. Now, again, 1989, cut it some slack when it comes to graphics and audio. The gameplay, however, is fantastic and really sucks you in to enjoyment. The first question the game asks when you're booting it up is, do you have a joystick? Great question, game. In this case, we do not, so let's go ahead and hit no here. The next question is, what sort of graphics are you looking for? Now, back in 1989, for you youngins out there, there were different graphics cards out there besides those made by NVIDIA and AMD. And because of that, the games that were out at that time had to be able to render things differently based on what was available to their customers. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and select VGA. It's, I think, one of the better options. I've never really tried MCGA, though. I just recognize VGA, and we're just going to go with that. Again, the same situation applies to sound cards as well. Different sound cards means different types of rendering. In this case, we're going to go ahead and go with the ad-lib soundboard. One, because it's already promoted by the game itself. If you notice below, it says the ad-lib music synthesizer can greatly enhance your computer's ability to reproduce the music and sounds in this and other MPS Labs games. I'm not too sure about the history behind this. I wonder if ad-lib was a technology also sold by Microprose. or they had a partnership with them. But you'll notice that there's other options as well, including the Roland MT32 MIDI board. Now, the Roland is what we used during the Wing Commander video series, and it sounded really great, especially when considering what the DOSBox generic sound options were. Now, I've played with the ad-lib board, and I think it sounds pretty good, so we're just going to go ahead and go with that. I could not find any MIDI files for the Roland synthesizer. Here we are, MicroProse, and it's going to go ahead and start us off with the intro to Sword of the Samurai. Great game. You notice that the duel program was actually created by Sid Meier himself, who had a hand in this particular game. I point that out particularly because of how difficult that dueling system actually is. It's going to be fun times for us ahead, but I step too far ahead of myself here. Let's take a look at our career choices. We can start ourselves off with a new game. We can take a look at the Scroll of Honor. In fact, I've never actually looked at the Scroll of Honor. I think that it's a Hall of Fame situation. Yeah, it's a Hall of Fame situation. And none of these characters were played by me. I think they're just the generic standard ones. You can go ahead and practice your duel skills in two options, Kenjutsu training and a special encounter with Miyamoto Musashi versus Sasaki Kojiro. It's a very famous duel from the feudal Japan era that can be reenacted in this game. We have two opportunities for melee encounters to practice your melee encounter skills, and we have two battle encounters to practice your battle skills. Now, you can do all these in the game, but it takes time away from other things from your character in-game, so you may want to consider practicing through these options here if you want to get better at duel, melee, or battle encounters. Let's go ahead and start a new game here. And the first thing that it asks us is, what is the name we wish to be known by? And I decided to do something really dumb, and I went to some random Japanese name generator, and I typed in my name. You know, how it fakes trying to put names to Japanese names or any other name generator type. But actually, the name that came out wasn't bad. I kind of like it. So if you put Jeremy into this particular name generator, what you get is Kazuma. And I'm okay with that. I actually kind of like that. So we're going to go ahead and call ourselves Kazuma for this particular game. And we hit return or enter. And now we have the opportunity to select what province we're going to base ourselves out of. Now notice that each province has its own clan that is attached to it. We have the Shimazu for Satsuma, Hyuga, we have Takahashi. And you can play in Kyushu territories, you can play in Shikoku territories, you can play on the Japanese mainland, and you'll notice that there are some famous clans in here too. Toyotomi, for example, Oda, Tokugawa, you've got Imagawa, Takeda is here as well, Hojo, there's Takeda, Date, Uesugi. I mean, these are really famous clans that are part of the feudal era. Now, what I did is, because it's what I do for some reason, I decided to make a list of every single province and clan in the game. There are 48 provinces that are available to select from in the game, each with their own clan. I also have open, which you guys can't see, the random number generator that will go ahead and pick from 1 through 48. Give me a number, and that's the number that I'm going to go ahead and play as, or that province I'm going to play as with that particular clan. Again, there are 48 provinces that are available. I've listed them all out, and I'm going to now go ahead and generate my random number. And the random number picked 18. 18 is Bizen province. Bizen province is on the Japanese mainland right here, which is Clan Ukita. Now, Clan Ukita has, and every clan has 4 traits. A trait for honor, a trait for generalship, a trait for swordsmanship, and a trait for land. Unfortunately for us, it looks like Clan Ukita is not necessarily one of the great clans to work for. They don't have great honor, and they don't have great land, which is wealth. They do have good swordsmanship and good generalship, which is nice. So I think what I'll do here is when we pick Clan Ukita, the game is also going to ask us for a family trait or something that our family advantage is good at. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pick land here and go from there. So Clan Ukita, we're going to go ahead and pick that. Before we pick our family advantage, though, we have to pick a difficulty level. There are 4 difficulty levels in Sword of the Samurai. We have Tanto, the Wakizashi, Katana, and Nodachi. Each one of these corresponds to a difficulty level: beginning, intermediate, experienced, and master. I think for this playthrough, we're going to go ahead and play on intermediate difficulty, the Wakizashi difficulty. I'm good at the game, I think. I'm not great at the game. I think this is going to be a good way to get some entertainment. I think Tanto's a bit too easy. Wakizashi, I think, is a good starting point, at least for us. And here now we select our family advantage. Now, swordsmanship means that your family has a tradition in the mastery of the martial arts. Generalship means that your family is renowned for its mastery of strategy and tactics. Honor is due to the status and achievements of your ancestors, your family has an honorable reputation. Honor is important as far as gaining more samurai to serve under you as your warriors, as is land, which is your family's skill at managing farms and farmers, which enables you to make the most of your rice-growing lands, which means more wealth for your clan. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick land here, simply because the more wealth equals, again, more opportunity to recruit soldiers. We can gain honor through other means, most importantly through random encounters that we get to eventually in the game. And we're pretty good at generalship and swordsmanship right now, so I think right now we're focused here on land and try and gain some wealth. All right, so we've started our game now. Now, technically speaking, we are 15 years old, we've just come of age, and we're now about to serve a Hatamoto, who is the advisor to the daimyo. So we're basically the subordinate to the subordinate of the daimyo. And here it looks like our Hatamoto is Ryotetsu. Lord Ryotetsu, the Hatamoto whom you will serve, welcomes you into the ranks of his samurai subordinates. He says, "Your father served Ukita clan well. I am sure you will live up to his name. Please be introduced to my other samurai." Each rival inspects you closely as you meet him. Now, we're not the only subordinate to the subordinate. There are others as well. And these individuals are our rivals in that we all want to become the next Hatamoto. And we'll need to find out what are the best ways to ensure that we succeed to Lord Ryotetsu rather than our rivals. So let's take a look at who our rivals actually are. Doken is a samurai of great renown. He controls a large fief and commands 36 warriors. He is known throughout the province as a cautious samurai of commendable honor. Okay, so that's Doken. Cautious samurai means he's not too hot-headed. He'll kind of stay on the sidelines and wait to see what happens. Commendable honor is, I guess, kind of like a starting point for honor. He does have a large fief, though, and he does have 36 warriors. Tomonori is a promising samurai who has a large fief and 31 warriors. He is a cautious samurai of satisfactory honor. Okay, another cautious samurai, another person who stays on the sidelines, I'm okay with. It's the ones who are hot-headed that you really have to worry about. Okifusa is a samurai of no great distinction and barely adequate honor, who controls a very large fief and 29 warriors. He is a guy we have to concern ourselves with, because If he has barely adequate honor and no great distinction, that means he's very interested in subterfuge tactics, in that he will try to do some really sneaky things like hostage taking or assassination, perhaps, inciting rebellions. These are all options available for individuals who don't really have an interest in honorable acts. You have a very large fief and command 17 samurai. You are known as a warrior of little honor. Now, we know why we are known as a warrior of little honor. It's simply because we have just started serving this particular Hatamoto. We can gain honor, again, through the encounters that we'll have throughout the course of the game. We have a very large fief, and 17 samurai is a good starting point, although we know that everyone else has more. So we definitely need to work up our army if we intend to do some campaigning. Now we have an option to consider what to do in the game. We can equip more samurai, which means that if we have the wealth for it and we have the honor for it, we can go ahead and recruit some more samurai. Now, we do have the wealth because we have a very large fief. However, the honor is a bit of an issue right now, as samurai like to follow individuals with higher honor, and we don't really have that much of it to begin with. So we need to work on that. So I don't think that equipping more samurai is a good move for us right now. We can practice kenjutsu, which is the way of the sword. I believe, though, that because our starting factor of our clan was 6 swordsmanship, it really do well for us right now to practice kenjutsu, because the max that a starting character can have is 6. Same thing with drilling our troops. I believe we had 6 generalship as our clan, and not really a good opportunity for us to drill either. We can donate land to the local Buddhist temple. Now, if you find yourself with an extreme amount of land, you can donate some of it to the Buddhist temple and gain honor that way. Now, on the flip side, if you try and do it without that large of a fief, you may find yourself unable to support the army that you have under your command, because obviously the land supports armies. We can raise the rice tax within our domain. Technically, it doesn't increase our fief size, but it increases wealth, so the game that makes the two one and the same. But the problem with that is that the more you push your peasants that work those fields to get that rice, there's a bigger opportunity for rebellion, especially if your rivals decide to try and incite rebellion using this as their reasoning. And finally, we have an opportunity to travel the lands. And by traveling, we'll have our random encounters that'll give us an opportunity to increase our honor, as well as visit other individuals, including our lord, our rivals, and enemy forces as well. Before we decide to select on what we're going to be doing, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple things. First, this is the Ukita clan, at least the 4 individuals that are in it. We have Doken, Tomonori, Okifusa, and Kazuma. Unfortunately, right now, we are last on the list. We are considered a disappointment. Okifusa is an adequate retainer, Tomonori has many fine qualities, and Doken is the most capable. If we take a look at the individuals, we can see kind of what they look like as far as their capabilities. Doken is a mature adult. He's cautious. He has 36 warriors, a large fief. He has a wife and an heir. He has no hostages. If we take a look at his assets, we can see that he has 5 honor, 4 land. I don't know what the hats are. I have to look at that. What are the hats? Not too sure about the hats. The fans are generalship, and the swords are swordsmanship. I have to find out what the hats are. If we take a look at Tomonori, we can see that he has 31 warriors. He has no family. He is aged, which means he may die and not have an heir. He has great generalship, not so great swordsmanship. 4 land, 5 honor, 4 honor, actually. Okifusa has a wife and an heir. No daughters, though. That's unfortunate. No daughters in this whole group. So we have 4 honor, 5 land, 6 generalship, and 7 swordsmanship. I'm another mature adult. And here we have our character, Kazuma. Now, Kazuma has a very large fief, 17 loyal warriors, no family, has no wife right now, no heir. So that's another thing that we need to work on. He has 3 honor, 6 wealth, or land, 5 swordsmanship, and 5 generalship. So we can boost each one of those up by 1 if we wanted to. And if we, how do I back out of here now? If we press escape, perhaps, yes, okay. If we press escape, we go back to the main screen. There are some things I'm still testing out here. Give me a break, guys. If we press F2, we can see our map. Now, we are the province in blue. That's our province. The province in yellow are our current enemies. In this case, the Miyoshi clan of Azumi province. And if we look at the clans in white, they are the up-and-comers who may also be considered to be our rivals or potential enemies. Here we have the Asao clan in Higo province. And all the way over here, we have the Asano clan of Kozuke province. So these are individuals that we need to keep an eye on. If we wanted to gain favor with our lord, we want to make war with the Miyoshi clan. And if I press F3, we can see if there are any bold deeds or campaign actions available. Bold deeds and campaign actions are offers from our lord to try and distinguish ourselves doing certain things. Campaign actions means going to war. Bold deeds are kind of opportunities for us to showcase our personal skills. Each one of us now is considering a course of action through this. So now that we've gone through those different maps, we can kind of get an idea of what we want to do. In this case, why don't we go ahead and try and increase our honor by traveling? And we have 3 options for travel. We can travel alone, testing yourself against fate. We can travel disguised as a poor Ronin. And we can travel at the head of our troops. Traveling at the head of our troops is basically kind of getting ready for a campaign. You would definitely want to do that if you were going to go to war with somebody, whether it be one of your rivals or another faction. But it wouldn't really do well for us right now. We can travel disguised as a poor Ronin, which is something that you would want to do if you wanted to engage in some acts of subterfuge. Again, those acts can include taking a hostage, committing an assassination, stealing valuable goods from another rival, even inciting rebellions. But right now, we don't want to do that because that's not a great way to increase your honor, because nobody knows who you are when you are disguised as a poor Ronin. Instead, what we want to do is travel alone, testing ourselves against fate. It's kind of like the old stories where you have the lone samurai who does away with evil and gains renown that way. That's exactly what this kind of is. So we're going to go ahead and travel alone, and it's going to take us to the game map. Hopefully. Okay. Here we can find ourselves in the game map. You'll notice a couple of different symbols on here, and I'll try and go through each one. These symbols with the names on them are the home locations for both our rivals and our lord, or Hatamoto. We can see that that Ryotetsu has a manor, while we, Tomonori, Okifusa, and Doken have just simple houses. Next to Kazuma's territory, we have a couple of villages. Notice that there are a bunch of roads here, and the roads actually do affect travel. You travel on a road, you can travel faster. There are a couple of bridges over here, and then we've got ourselves a castle. There's a shrine near the Okafusa Doken territory. Down here, another shrine near Sanuki. And then a couple more of the villages. What I'm looking for in particular is a random encounter that may occur at any given time. I don't want to travel to any other territory right now because I'm not traveling with any army, and you would kind of want to do that if you were going to war. Now, we did get a random encounter here. While traveling through the country, you encounter a group of thieves who behave in a disrespectful manner. You decide to We can avoid trouble and go on about our business, which basically means we skip the encounter. I don't know if this actually has an effect on our honor. Probably does. Or we can draw our sword in the defense of honor. Now, if we were to be successful in this, we would gain some prestige, some honor, and our lord would have more favor with us. This will take us to a melee encounter, so this will be our first opportunity to see some combat in this video. So I think we're going to go ahead and draw our sword in the defense of honor. Now, melee is a bit of an interesting map because a lot of times you'll be on the rice fields here, and I kind of want to get over here as quickly as possible. We're throwing some sort of weaponry here. Okay, and our goal here is to survive and take out all of these enemies here. And the guys in... Oh, damn it. Oh, he took me out already. Wow. All right. Failure on our part here. I was going to say, the guys in brown are spearmen. They're the ones that I'm most concerned about a lot of the times. The guys in yellow are swordsmen. And the guys in green, who I don't even think we saw yet because I got taken out so fast, would be archers. You try to force your body to keep attacking, but the wounds you have taken are too great, and the world goes black. When you awaken, your wounds have been tended and bound, but nothing can soothe the shame that burns in your heart. So we failed. That's great. It's fantastic. It's a great way to start the series, right? Great way to earn honor, Kazuma. Good job, buddy. And I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording here. Next time on Let's Play Sword of the Samurai, we will continue on our campaign to gain some more honor. Now, before I do so, before I end the video, I just want to head back to my home territory, because there may be a random encounter that occurs here before I can save the game, and I just want to make sure that we either see it or we don't. Okifusa has added 8 samurai to his army. Okay. Okay, we're back in our castle, or rather our home. Sometimes people do attack us for no good reason, just random, so I just want to make sure that nobody did after I pause the recording. So we'll find out, or we'll continue our campaign as Kazuma next time on Sword of the Samurai. Until then, this is J Squared John Jeremy signing off, saying so long, and take care.